There's something interesting that we should take from the various protest movements that have been happening globally. And what I want you to start thinking about is, what are your expectations of the results of a protest? When you protest, you're saying that you refuse to move, refuse to budge, refuse to contribute to a society until your demands are considered. So your expectation is that a line of negotiation or conversation is opened between yourself and the entity that you are protesting. But governments require a certain level of veneer to maintain their power. This appearance that they are in control, and a general uprising of the people looks terrifying to a paranoid, power-hungry political operative, as most nations are run by. So rational and reasonable response is entirely out of the window. But any number of responses can happen as a result of a protest. But more often than not, what we see is harsh crackdowns followed by abdication, or negotiation, the latter two being the least likely. And there's so much that goes into why these different things happen differently, but it's worth noting. In Iran, Hong Kong, Belarus, places with firm authoritarian control, we see harsh crackdowns and stuff like that because of the complete synergy between the rulers and their police force. Places like Nepal and Madagascar forced abdication because their entire movement was united with the police and military, or at least was intimidating enough to hold them off. But the key here is that every scenario is its own little concoction of social, societal, religious, political, like all those little things mixed together to come forward and create the scenarios that happen. To bring this all back around to the US, we need to understand that the point of protesting at all times is to provoke a response. With the way that our authorities are aligned, it is highly likely that that response will not initially be abdication, apology, or negotiation. In fact, force and denial are the primary tools that have been used since civil disobedience was invented. And if the recent shootings are any indicator, it is certainly going to get worse before it gets better. And it might need to get worse. In order to knock the scales from the eyes of many of the people in this country, what we need to do is to be ready to support with compassion and defend with all of our might. Now, this is not my "many of you will die" speech. In fact, I hope to the universe's end that the killing and maiming that has already occurred is enough to send a point to people who are not on board yet. But we need to think realistically about the results we expect to happen as a result of our protests, no matter how peaceful. It doesn't matter how peaceful you are, they will respond how they want to respond. We need to prepare for the possibility that the worst is yet to come, so that we can be prepared to offer our best. Because the real abdication is the friends we made along the way.